Okay, we are doing a basic looking for sign in the leaf litter or looking about kind of thing. Otherwise, just in the tree line exploration. No expectations of particularly finding anything. You could even say I'm probing for a good hammock spot. You never know. If memory serves, there's a little stream up ahead that runs down the hill a ways. And the day's agenda again is undefined. I'm on the fence about flying the drone because the wind, when it is up, is gusty enough to cause potential concern about mishaps, and I would just assume not waste the day trying to find a crashed drone in the middle of all this. Basically, some days you're in the mood to fly, some days you're not, and today I'm kind of on the fence. So, other than that, a couple of things on my mind. First of all, again, condolences to the Fasano family. Sad news came through the other afternoon that he had passed away due to a heart attack, and that's a sad news because whether you bought Tom's stories or not, or Tim's stories or not, he was one of the few guys that made YouTube Bigfooting fun in his content. He made an effort to make it entertaining, so he is the kind of guy that will be missed. There are so many other ham and egg, and that's part of what I'm going to touch on in the course of my wood scrambling open editorial as opposed to op-ed in here. And basically, a couple of things. First and foremost, something I just observed recently more often than I have in social media circles. There's kind of like this need for the lower common denominator to drive a level of content down. And what I'm talking about, there's like a type of YouTube channel that's come out in the recent months along the lines of Darkness Prevails and Swamp Dweller and a couple of others. And they're basically the telling of campfire stories on various themed subjects, and in and of themselves, they're fine. In the episodes that kind of cut off after like 40 minutes, you got a couple that go out there that go on for like 3 and 4 hours. That's a bit much, but the nature of the content itself is okay. And then you factor in the copycat factor, as well as some people that just don't want to make any effort. And then what they're doing is they're basically stealing things from like creepy story subreddits, and they're basically not even picking up a microphone. They're just robo-voicing it on a freeware online voice to text thing. Sorry, text to voice, where you type it in and then it makes it into audio content. And you're stealing other people's stories off of other people's things. You're using other people's tools. You're basically making no effort at all. And it's just, and these people have monetized their YouTube channels, and they're making money off of other people's freaking stories, and they're not even making any effort to provide original content. They're bottom feeders, basically. Whereas guys like Darkness Prevails has his own subreddit, and people willingly send him stories, and the whole thing is like, consensual. This is just like thievery on some levels. And just this is kind of going down a fairly steep hillside here in this. Looking around, I don't expect, the leaf litter's thick enough. I don't really think there's going to be a lot of crack potential or anything, but it doesn't hurt to look. Every now and then you come across something like a moose shed or something too. And God forbid I ever do. There's a guy around here that says he knows how to do that. And actually I think today might be, upcoming in the next few weeks, he's got some kind of moose moose event. He's a moose tracker guy who, that's his thing. That's his outdoorsy thing that he does. Nothing wrong with it. He's got his own niche in the outdoors thing. But also, kind of a nondescript tree break right here. Bear in mind this area is like replete with wind damage and windstorms, so a lot of your stick structure-y stuff is basically going to fall into that category. The other thing you have in larger Facebook groups like Bigfoot Outlaws, Sasquatch Chronicles, the bigger ones where you get a mix of different opinions and levels of belief, you always have that one critical thinker guy who questions the evidence, and inevitably he runs afoul of somebody who wants to believe every stump, every pareidolia blur, every stick pile is related to Bigfoot. And they inevitably will bark at the critical thinking guy that, stop hating and all this. And you know what? The people that do that, the babies that do that, frankly need to shut the hell up. The major reason why is you need the critical thinkers because they are the filter against the bullshit. And the reason why that's important is the people who comprise what I'm just going to call the babies are people that are probably born of the Twitter generation who expect instant gratification and can't understand or wrap their mind around that compelling pieces of evidence in the Sasquatch mystery are few and far between, and that bothers their patience level, and that's really too damn bad because that is how that works. There's just a lot of time in between. So they end up desperately clinging to anything and everything that comes around, no matter how bad it is. Of all the other name names, I'm not going to. And that is when something critical, these people just, and that they miss the point that if you freaking think that everything is Bigfoot, that everything becomes Bigfoot, and when you actually do have so for all the people come out that want it's going to get lost in the white noise, cry about the haters and all that. Shut up. Just shut up. It isn't hate. It's needed. And for any critical thinker out there who's hearing this, the only thing you really ought to say to the whiners is you're welcome, because they're not helping the cause. They are really the thing in the way, and they are the ones that get catered to for silliness like Mountain Monsters and crap cable TV, things like that just lower the bar for the seeking of evidence and the like. And it's old. It just gets very tired. In slightly more creative news, I did post yesterday that I was making chili. And that kind of inspired me. I might be of a mind when I get home from this later to start a Facebook group revolving around campfire recipe type stuff for those that get out and enjoy making, cooking stuff around the campfire and sharing what they do. There's probably already groups like this out there, but, why not start your own with your own particular theme on it and see where it goes. Could be interesting. Bring in a different demographic. I came into a conflict on a hammock camping forum when they were arguing politics of all things, and a lot of the folks were basically decrying the fact that they were there for gear talk and stuff, not whining about Trump or hating Trump or loving Trump or any of this other stuff. And I'm not going to go there. So don't go political in my comments, because that's not the point I'm making. But on a similar tack, I started Northeastern Hammock Camping, and it basically is a gear channel for folks that are hammocky minded. And up in the Vermont area where I go, there's a certain breed of, they're typically younger kids, but they'll go in on dirt bikes, and they go in off trails where they're probably not supposed to go in vehicles, but backpack, hammock, minimal supplies, and they do what I call bush camping. And you know, that's the kind of channel that's geared towards that kind of person. Some of them may bow hunt or something too, or bushcraft or whatever. But that's how they get in there. And it's a nice little widowmaker or head whacker right there. We're not going to walk under that. But on a similar tack, we were thinking about some kind of a campfire cooking kind of thing. So, a couple of op-eds today for the people out there that like hang on every little bit of pseudo evidence. There's a lot of bullshit out there, whether you like it or not. In fact, as much as probably 98% of your YouTube Patreon nonsense is just that. And you need a better filter. Whether you want to hear, you know, Uncle Mike give you the, you know, the grumpy old man freaking lecture, but that's kind of what it is. You need a better filter. If you think everything is, then you really don't know what you're looking at when you see something good, and you're going to miss it. So, to the person you're crying about calling him a hater, shut up. And God forbid the bottom feeding freaking storyteller guys actually pick up a microphone and do their own dirty work. So that's my op-ed segment as I look for stuff in the woods. There's not really a lot. There's interesting, weird, let's go look at this. You got an upended tree that in its roots has like 4 or 5 boulders. That's part of the reason I like these woods. You get all this weird scenery stuff. And we're back. But that's where I'm going to end this segment. With this weird... We're a little further down the back side and we're going to continue further down the hill and pick up again if we run into heading into an area I haven't been in a while. And check for signs of life in here. Quick look at the scenery. Adjusting for uphill. So as you can see, this place is kind of hilly. Right now we're going up a gradual slope. And again, I don't really expect to find anything in here. It's just kind of a occasional recon kind of situation. But it will be interesting the next time we go up to Vermont because they have actually had some snow. And the long windy road in, if snow covered, can be rather tricky. And it gets that way quickly once you get some snowfall on it. So if that's the case, then in my head I already have a plan B where I'll approach the Five Bogs area from a southern approach. And it'll be a longer day because you have to go further to go in there, but if you got snow and you can't get in there by vehicle, you're walking, so that's how that is. But more of where we are today. And so for today is basically just a peaceful walk in the woods. And that's about it. But quiet days are sometimes when things happen unexpectedly too. You never know. But nice shot of the stream. Kind of runs up there. Also goes that way. So a little bit uphill at this point. It was kind of a trail. It's becoming less of a trail. Very quickly stopped being a trail, and then I think we're at the dead end of the trail here, and we kind of go up the hill a bit. And we're heading up actually over this way. So here now. I forget, but I think there's some kind of an old house foundation in here. One of a few in the area. A lot of the second stage forest in Connecticut, you know, God knows when, but is you run into that nature kind of reclaiming homesteads from more than you might think. I think I posted a picture last year to the, basically that way in the, where's my hand? That way in to the northwest there is a what's left over of a fireplace and the chimney of an old house. So there's your foundation. You can barely tell at this point. I'll walk around over here so you can have a look. From the look though, this place hasn't really changed that much in the last few years. I think it's been like 2 years since I've been in here. And this is what I'm referring to. Nope, other way. This thing right here is, or well, if you look at the whole thing, it's kind of a square pit and it used to be an old, probably very old house. Out in the, because now it's out in the middle of nowhere. There wouldn't be any way to drive in here or anything of that nature. So we are basically going to take a quick look at a meadow over here, see what's going on over there, and actually this It's not that big a meadow. It's just interesting little former beaver dam situation kind of thing. Looks like it's more overgrown now though. Or I'm not coming out of the same place I used to. I think that's over by this gnarly old tree over here. Kind of like follow the gnarly tree to the dead tree. This did get overgrown though. Yeah, it did. There's a meadow. If you look there, you can barely see through. I want a better angle through this. I gotta go through this undergrowthy stuff though to get to it. Well, that works too. Of course, any element of surprise on anything in the meadow is now long gone. So, if you call it a meadow, it's not a really big meadow. But it looks kind of dicey to get to. There used to be more water there. It looks like it dried up. But little meadow in here. Idea what we just came through. There's, we're going to take a brief break. I'll take a couple of pictures of this just because. Then we'll start heading back out. He was in the way, so we took care of that. And this area is kind of a weird, like undergrowth mix with one of those old New England colonial era property fences people built when they first got here. Which, believe it or not, are kind of a pain in the butt to climb over. Because of the just uneven nature of the terrain. Sorry about that. But the area seems all quiet today as I pull twigs out of my hat and my hair and the like from going through all this low-hanging undergrowth. But yeah, I think today's so far quiet. So go around the other side of the foundation this time. I guess we're parallel on it still. But there it is again. We're just basically walking by and start heading back out. Kind of a quick look around over here. Nope. That got away from me a little bit. So from the sky to the ground and back, even though I didn't intend that. So anyway, coming out to check this area. If I have walked by the hunter that's out here, he's probably a bow hunter because he did not make a peep. And might even have been chuckling at me talking to myself on camera, but Who knows? Well, these trees down over the path, it makes you wonder if somebody actually has been trying to keep people from getting a vehicle back here. Anyway, for the sake of lack of activity, I guess we're going to end this part short. Unless something happens and we get the camera back on top. I literally feel pieces of tree on top of my hat at this point, which is kind of funny. But